Hello and welcome back to another Reaconteur video, and in today's video I want to go over the various stereotypes of VV Ultimatum players. If you enjoy, make sure to subscribe, since basically nobody is. Along with that, I'm currently live at twitch.tv/Reaconteur 20 minutes after this video goes up, so make sure to go check me out over there, because I'm going to be live for the first time in like 3 weeks since I'm back from Japan, and I want to come talk to you guys. I want you guys to come talk to me so I can answer your questions and talk to you guys, because it's been too long. Now let's get straight into it. The purist is the guy who plays every Bleach game, then goes through the exact same faction even though Quincy is always the best. This is me. I go Reaconteur in literally every Bleach game ever, and there's a lot of people who do the exact same thing, because why wouldn't you if you like a faction? Most people who are like this have at least watched Bleach and just joined the faction they think is the coolest or belonging to their favorite character or characters. The opposite of the purist, however, would be the next entry. This is the Metamancer. This guy just goes straight on to whatever is the strongest with no care in the world about what he might actually like or find fun, because the only thing he cares about is killing people, because that's how he has his fun. 90% of the time, these people haven't actually watched Bleach either. They only really play this game because it's the same anime as Type Soul, and they only play Type Soul because they saw their favorite ABA video making YouTuber play it, and now they see this game as a competitor to that game, so they're playing it. Most of the time, they have different slots for each faction just so they can hop between what's the strongest every time something gets buffed or nerfed and changes the game balance. They take the game way too seriously and get toxic whenever they lose, and they complain whenever they find the easiest build ever that got nerfed because it was gutted, or according to them it was gutted, because you can't press 2 buttons and auto win any fight anymore. But realistically, these guys are only in games because there's always something kinda broken that they can abuse, because if everything were perfectly balanced, they'd get bored because then they'd have to rely on skill. The average Type Soul player will hop on VV Ultimatum, play for 20 minutes up to a few hours depending on how dry Type Soul is, and then they will get back on Type Soul. They'll also consistently try to remind everyone around them about how bad VV Ultimatum is and how compared to Type Soul it's trash, but then they keep playing it. Like, yeah man, we get it. The other half of Type Soul players are the competitive demons who call VV VFX slop, and then they play with low graphics using fast flags because they need the placebo of an extra 11 ping difference. So half of these dumb motherfuckers, PG-13 video remains, will be on the $2,000 PC that they only play Roblox on, and they still feel the need to lower the graphics and remove game textures because they think it's somehow gonna make them better. Which is really funny because 90% of them can barely parry in PvE because they only play Type Soul and ABA. This is the guy who thinks he's different. He's basically the racial equivalent of a pick-me. That sounds really bad, sorry. The VV or Bleach faction equivalent of a pick-me. He complains about how he plays the weakest race in the game, regardless of which faction he actually chose. He swears he's nothing like those other lame Reaconteurs/Quincy's/Soul Reapers, whichever race he's playing, who just jump people every chance they get, or just sneak people, and he can actually run the ones. He doesn't run ones because he's always on with friends and thinks it'd be a waste of time to prove how good he is, because everyone already knows it. This guy also usually has an ego despite the fact that nobody knows him, but he tries to act like he doesn't, and he swears that he's known, as if being known over a Roblox game isn't the lamest thing ever. Wait, hold on. The ego is the best way I could title this entry. This guy's probably also a Metamancer, or the guy who thinks he's different. Regardless, this guy's got like 2,000 subs on YouTube, pretends he doesn't know anyone who isn't in his immediate group of friends. Like, he'd get pinged by Nano Prodigy or Infernasu over Discord and respond with, "Who are you?" spelled with the letter R and the letter U with a question mark at the end. He uploads really shitty gank videos on YouTube, which are either over-edited or not edited at all or made in CapCut. He also uploads build review videos talking about the best build in all of VV Ultimatum, and he'll do one for each faction and each stat with his 720p video footage and the worst microphone you've ever heard. He also has videos up from months to years ago of him doing it with every new game in existence, while he keeps trying to blow up on YouTube without ever improving the quality of any of the aspects of his videos in any way. His thumbnails don't get better, his microphone doesn't get better, his recordings stay 480p. Can you guys tell I hate people like this? Anyway, watch my live channel. The gank specialist knows how to do one thing. and it's gank. In VV Ultimatum, getting jumped is about as realistic as you can get in a Roblox game, because similarly to real life, if you're getting jumped like that, you're not winning. These guys have spent hours practicing team combos, utilizing each other's moves specifically so they can jump people more efficiently with infinite stun lock combos and perfectly timed them ones, and they've even specialized their builds around gank methods. So good luck trying to run away, because here's a little hint, they're both faster and outrange you. These guys jump you so bad you'd think you were in an episode of Jujutsu Kaisen the way they do it. And I don't even know how they're so coordinated. It's like they're a hive mind made specifically for jumping. And they don't even care about who you are. If you look half decent or half strong, they will hop you with absolutely no regrets or hesitation. Code warriors come from all corners of the Roblox world, but games like Type Soul and basically every other slop Roblox anime game with Predator developers I can think of have gotten people used to expecting a trillion rerolls and basically being boosted by codes. A lot of these people are just little kids who don't want to have to compete with people who are better than them, and because of that they just want the codes to give them everything good enough to make them overpowered so they can beat the evil players in the other factions. By the way, I feel like Bleach games at this point are just supporting racial divide and prejudice, which is kind of funny. How do people keep making new slurs for Reaconteurs and Quincy's? I have no clue. This is unrelated to the entry, by the way. I just felt like bringing this up. The clueless Discord spammer is exactly what they sound like. They spam the same question as many times per message as they can until they get a response telling them how to get it, and the questions range from entry-level stuff you can Google or find on the Trello to, how can I get this thing that is very clearly not obtainable or in the game? Like the people spamming asking about how they're supposed to get visored when it literally isn't the game, and then you ask them what faction they are and they're Quincy's. What do you mean? You couldn't even get visored if it was in the game. I'm not even joking, this is a real interaction I had with someone. For some reason, regardless of the Bleach game, the worst, most build-carried people in all of existence will find their way onto one of two skill trees. One being, and this one being, Keto. A Reaconteur, Soul Reaper, Quincy, it does not matter. Most of the time though, Keto players at least aren't super toxic about it unless they're also gank specialists, which in Type Soul there were a lot of. It's not nearly as bad in this game, but there are still a lot of them. They zone you out, they play lame, they might win with their zero skill build, but most of the time, unless they're also gank specialists, they won't get too toxic and call you bad words or slurs or anything. Unlike the next entry. Hakuda or Hakuda speed players. Hakuda drones are the same as Keto drones, except they're always as toxic as possible for basically no reason, and some of them macro. They hit the exact same possibly macro combo every single time they can. They spam M1 whenever they're out of Reiryoku, or Reishi in this game, and they act like they're the best player in the world because they can kill you in one combo that they sneak AFK players in the skill tree to hit. Meanwhile, if they miss the combo, then they just proceed to either panic and lose the fight, or from there they might even be able to preserve their senses and gather their mind just long enough to run away until their moves are off cooldown while they snake you until they have more ratio to land cheap attacks with. Somehow, lame Hakuda players are just a universal constant within Bleach games, and I don't know why. I think what they should do, maybe it's just because games keep copying error Hakuda movesets from Type Soul, and those are never well made. They weren't even well made in Type Soul. This is usually a kid. This is the wallet, but every once in a while it'll be some dumbass spending all his Robux on anything he can, and god, do the developers love to see you coming. 200 Robux stat reinvestment? Why not buy one a day and try 5 different builds? 200 Robux to change your weapon? Why not buy all of them and then keep re-rolling back to the one you want? That's 2,000 Robux down the drain. 200 Robux hair color change. Not a joke, by the way. That's how much it costs for a haircut in this fudging game. Yeah, this guy. He'll buy it all. This guy kind of is just addicted to the dopamine release he gets from Roblox games and change, and because of that, 90% of the time, he ends up just hopping on Roblox simulators, gets on them for 2 weeks, spends thousands of Robux, and then moves on to the next game. These are the same, like, moronic people who were spending money on that exit scam game Sorcery, and then the game came back for the 3rd time and they were still putting Robux into it saying, but the game's not a scam, it's owned by different developers. Just because it's free doesn't mean you should be supporting them. The next guy is the role player. He's probably really edgy, he talks in single words only after winning a fight, and he thinks he's super cool because he has airwalk and tries to use it to aura farm in a Roblox game. What he'll do half of the time is, like, they'll have terrible main character syndrome, and most of the time they'll walk up to you with their weapon drawn, say nothing, stare at you, and then they'll try and one combo you, and then they stay silent whenever they lose fights, or they'll just combat log to avoid the toxicity, which ironically is a bigger aura loss than just dying, seeing as how how these guys care so much about aura farming in a Roblox game. Along with that, some of these guys just like to roleplay as characters, so some of them will try to be their own like edgy OC that you would expect some 12-year-old to make, and then the other half of them are just trying to act like their favorite Bleach characters, and it's like, I don't know which one is cringier, but either way, you guys are kinda lame. This is the guy who only plays the game for PvE. He's probably a deep-woken player, and he just wishes that the game was getting more major PvE updates, especially when we're halfway through the year with less than a third of the 2026 roadmap's content, with our new lead developer playing VV Ultimatum and being like level 90. Sorry, I'm throwing shade. This guy probably also likes Souls games and any other PvE-based game, so he's just playing this because it's a pretty decent PvE option as far as Roblox games go. I mean, this is kind of me, because, you know, I used to be a top 70 Sekiro speedrunner in the deathless, glitchless category, 100% back on PS4, but you get what I mean, right? Top 70 Sekiro speedrunner. But yeah, this is a pretty decent game as far as Roblox games go for PvE, and this guy knows that. The speed spammer has one goal, and that goal is to get out as many moves as possible, as quickly as possible, to try and literally speed blitz you in a Roblox game. It is so dumb, and these people are always one of two people. They're the ones that can adapt, and what they do is they'll usually start out with spam, and if it doesn't work, they'll start playing strategically, or they're the ones who can't adapt, and what they end up doing is just spamming the whole fight, none of their moves land, and they wonder why they keep losing to people, when their brain is physically incapable, and mentally incapable, and emotionally incapable of adapting in any possible way. These guys always have like 400 maxed out reserves with max speed and usually strength as well, and then they just try and hit you with as much as they can, all before you're possibly able to react to it. So these guys also usually try and sneak you on menus and stuff like that, or they go after AFK people who look decently strong when doing PvP stuff. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video as usual. If I forgot any stereotypes you guys can think of, then leave it down in the comment section down below. I read every single comment. Please check out my live channel, Reaconteur Live. I put a lot of effort into those videos, and I'm bringing back the weekly videos. I was gone in Japan, so I couldn't make some. And along with that, I promise, guys, once I face reveal, I'm going to be streaming more. I'm going to be using the face cams, and I'm going to be doing all this fun stuff. So you'll see how that goes. There's going to be more live videos. There's going to be more stuff in the live. There's going to be more Twitch clips. There's going to be more everything. But yeah, we're entering a new era of Reaconteur with the face reveal, and this channel is probably going to take a backseat. So check out my live channel and Twitch for more me, because those are where I actually have a lot more fun. I mostly do these videos for the fans. And speaking of the fans, new song cover for YouTube members later this month, and shoutouts to tier 2 or higher members: Green, Philip, Delusional Mo, welcome back, Akio Sugekuni, Zerksky, Unigio, Fun Guns, Cap 1913, Jwa, Michiwo, Kiesler, Aiden SCDD, Crypto, Black Soul Wolf, Abridged Gouther, Broccoli, and Drizzy Drake fan. We got a bunch of new members. I love you all, and I love all of you regardless if you're a member or not, but you know, I have favoritism because these guys give me money. Regardless, I love you all, have an amazing day, and goodbye.